Peace, y'all. This is the Shemsu Heru Magi, Mentu Arts, Spiritual Warrior Training, Shadow Work 102, by yours truly, Sahu Akhu. Alright, y'all, let's get into it. Now, Shemsu Heru translates to followers of the Great Falcon. And for the true Magi warriors, this is the way. To walk the path of righteousness, to be true to oneself, to be true of voice, Akhu Heru. To live in truth, righteousness, balance, and reciprocity is not by any means a simple task to undertake. This is the path of Ma'at, harmonious balance. In contrast, the world we live in exists in a state of isfet, disorder, chaos, and turmoil. This world exists in a chaotic state because things are out of balance. This world we live in is out of harmony with nature. But regardless of our current circumstances as a collective, this does not mean we can't restore the balance. When we decide to take accountability for our own lives and to define our own reality, we are walking upright as the Shemsu Heru Magi. We are true warriors of the light. Now that doesn't mean we simply ignore the darkness, but rather we are consciously aware and fully capable of seeing through the darkness, even while soaring above it all, much like the mighty falcon, Heru. Now, it is important to understand that there are those who have chosen the opposite polarity. There are those who choose to walk the path of the Shemsu Set. And these are not our enemies, but rather those of us who are living unconsciously through their own free will. Many of them could have been powerful magi, but were not able to complete their shadow work and thus fell victim to their own shadow selves. Instead of spirituality, they choose the physical world. Instead of Ma'at, they choose materialism. Instead of being true to oneself, they choose to give in to self-deception. You see, in this world, injustice has been established and normalized for the descendants of the Kemetu. So despite the world being in this chaotic state, we seek to reestablish the balance and end this oppression through consciousness. Yet and still, the Shemsu Set have chosen their path, and instead of divine justice, they choose spiritual anarchy. Now, they give honor to the Necher Set, but for the wrong reasons. They relate it to physical strength and power over the physical world. The Shemsu Heru choose to rely on spiritual strength as the foundation that we build upon. One day, a young Sahu man walked into the Earth Center in New York City. I saw a brother with a long white robe on writing down hieroglyphs in a notebook. He told me he was completing a homework assignment given to him by his master teacher. We had a long conversation, and while he didn't exactly explain the Nechers to me in the same terms that I use, the terms that I call complex concepts, he was imparting spiritual knowledge to me in what might have been the best way I was able to understand at that time. Interestingly, at the end of the conversation, he stressed this fact with vital importance. What he told me was that Set was not, in fact, the quote-unquote white man. You see, Set could even be one of our own brothers. And often that is the case. Set is a mentality. That's why it is of vital importance to understand that the Shemsu Set are not our true adversary. We do not, in reality, exist in opposition to one another. So do not be deceived. There is a difference between the shadow self and the concept of evil itself. Each and every one of us possesses a shadow self, but in the case of the Shemsu Set, the shadow self possesses them. We must do our best to understand and to hopefully encourage the Shemsu Set to become true Shemsu Heru. Yet and still, we must know that not everyone will make it through this process, depending on how much shadow work the individual has done or failed to do. Many of our strongest warriors have fallen victim to their own shadow selves. It is in our own best interest as a collective to treat the Shemsu Set with as much respect and compassion as possible, and to always remember that we too could be in the very same position if we become out of balance and out of alignment with our higher selves. The Ka is only one aspect of our being. Therefore, if we live unconsciously, only identifying with our Ka, only identifying with our personality, and allowing our consciousness to be limited by how we perceive ourselves in this world. In doing so, we risk being entirely consumed by it instead of integrating it. Shadow work is this integration process. It takes immense self-discipline and dedication to a higher calling than the fulfillment of one's own personal desires to gain mastery over the Ka. We, as the Shemsu Heru, must understand those who choose to walk the path of the Shemsu Set, as many were simply manipulated and led to believe they never had a choice between the two. They are truly our dark reflection, and though many of them may turn against us, it is because they are not true to themselves, so they fear the authenticity that we embody. Everyone has a choice, no matter the circumstances, and every one of us has the chance for redemption if we simply do the work. I am here to guide those of us who have decided it's time to do the hard work it takes to be fully in alignment with their higher self and make a positive impact on the world around us. Thank you for your time. Ankh Ujab Seneb Neb, life, prosperity, and health.